Breaking news feels exclusive when yogerera mu kaseera kano omusajja mukulu Waisswa Mufumbiro ye aleeteddwako ku kooti okulaba nga munange yenyigira mu nsonga zakalujjukira bulungi nti aleeteddwa okubanga ate asaba beero tetumanyi ate oba munanga n'abanga agiweebwa lunaku olwaliro lwa nsonga nti buli lwabadde nga ajja mu kooti ate abadde nga agattibwako emisango emirala wabula ate mu kaseera kano alabiddwako ng'aleeteddwa n'ab'enjawulo abanene ensonga baziyingiddemu okulaba nga munange ateebwa atandika okubanga atalaga mu bitundu by'ennakaweeyo gye yeeyagaliza okubanga munange oba gye yeesimbawo. Kale nno ensonga nzikuletedde osobola okubanga ate ozekkanya wabula ate bwe bitambula ku side n'obukalativu n'obukambwe bwaliko nsobola okugamba nti musajja mukulu ate munange yayindyogera okunyiiza abo be wandigamye nti babadde bamutabuti ne bongera okubanga bamuza okusinziira ku byengenda okulaga video giliking oba ginkonyeremuko ekigalo esobola okubanga etambula ab'enjawulo abasobola okubanga bekkanya ku bubaka nga bwe natandaba kusubscribinga akona mwata munanga ekigalo osobola okubanga n'obubaka obufunyirawo bunnambiro busobola okubanga bukutuwako obutereevu awo niyo comfort zone osobola okubanga obwekkanya embeera eri mu kooti kansoke njikubeko omusajja mukulu nga wanda omuliro okomawo otwengereko n'agaleero
of keeping the longevity of anarchy and dictatorship. I repeat, supporting Bobi Wine is not a crime. I am not a criminal and I'm not on trial. It is my liberty that is on trial. It is my liberty that is on trial. I am not a criminal. I am not on trial. It is my liberty on trial. This is political persecution. Many people out there, criminals are out there, but working for the longevity of the system. I am not a criminal. Supporting Bobi Wine is not a crime. Bobi Wine is not a crime. Therefore, I am not a criminal. They are just isolating us to gag us from representing the party that we believe in. It is the idea, it is the generational mission that we are looking after, making sure that we liberate this country for our children and our children's children. I am not a criminal, and supporting Bobi Wine is not a crime. This is democracy on trial, the sanctity of the doctrine of separation of powers, the independence of the judiciary, the independence of the legislature. It is what is on trial, not Waisswa Mufumbiro on trial. It is the independence of the judiciary on trial. It is the sanctity of the doctrine of separation of powers on trial. It is not Waisswa on trial. And we will fight until that is happening for our children and our children's children. What is on trial is my liberty. It is the liberty of all and sundry, of sane minds of this country, not Waisswa Mufumbiro. You have seen officers at the rank of SSP beating up people in supermarkets and being released in 2 days, and then people like Waisswa cannot be released to go and do what they are supposed to do, to stand for the positions they are supposed to stand for. Ours is an idea. It is not criminality. We are using democracy to overcome violence, and violence will never defeat democracy. It will take time, it will take a tall order, but those who are resilient and strong will always overcome as long as we absorb our fear as a people. Ugandans, absorb your fear, absorb your fear. We can do this. We have an opportunity on January 15th. Vote Kyagulanyi Robert Sentamu as your president, vote Balimwezo as your Lord Mayor, and of course, those people of Nakawa East constituency, Waisswa Mufumbiro as your member of parliament. I am unwalkable. I will stand for what is right. I will stand for what is true, and I will make sure that this country gets back to the constitutional order. The revolution is on. The mission is generational. We cannot turn it back. It is an idea. We need to be strong. We need to be firm. We need to be committed. We need to be resilient to all and sundry in this country. We should struggle and fight for our nation. January 15th, vote Kyagulanyi Robert Sentamu as your president, vote Balimwezo as your Lord Mayor, and of course, those people of Nakawa East constituency, Waisswa Mufumbiro as your member of parliament. I am unwalkable. I will stand for what is right. I will stand for what is true, and I will make sure that this country gets back to the constitutional order. The revolution is on. The mission is generational. We cannot turn it back. It is an idea. We need to be strong. We need to be firm. We need to be committed. We need to be resilient to all and sundry in this country. We should struggle and fight for our nation.
Ensonga ezo nga bw'ozirabyeko byewuunyisa agamba nti okuwagira His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu asse musango ate n'okubanga yenyigira mu nsonga ezo atali mu kubanga akola omusango kale nno abali mu kubanga bamnyigiriza eddembe nga ye bwavudde n'ategeeza ku nsonga ezo era n'akalaatira n'ab'enjawulo ababeere nga ate mu ne basigala ku mustawa oba ku kkubo lyewandiise eggolokofu okulaba nga bateekawo enkyukakyuka mu ggwanga lyattu Uganda busungu bwerere ebitambula ku sayidi nosobola okugamba nti ate byo byennyamiza oba byenyikiza kale nno ebitatambulayo bityo abasajja bakulu bali bannakenya abakwatibwa mu ngeri y'okuba ate munnange babuzibwa ne bamala ne bateebwa omukulembeze eggwanga ejjukira avaayo n'abeera nga alina ensonga za liviringo oba n'abeera nga ate azikuba bannayuganda mu kaseera kano basajja bakulu bavuddeyo nga bali ku sayidi z'Ekenya ewaabwe ne babeera nga ate babikkula ebyama mu babikudde bagamba nti CDF okwanga lina ate munnange alina akabondo kakozesa mu mbeera okuba nti ate munnange balina abantu be bawamba mu gatali mateeka oba mu ngeri enyigirizibwa mu ddembe ly'omuntu wa wansi kasooka mbikuweka ate munnange osobole okuba nga obekkanya okomawo atuyengereko n'agaleero
San Muhozi, who is undertaking these crimes against humanity. They have been undertaken at the Special Forces Command Center in Serakasenyi. That is a training ground for the presidential security team. And they call themselves next to none because they are next to none. They don't take command from any other, either the judiciary, whether it's parliament, whether it's the executive. So this is an armed militia that is operating under the General Muhozi. And there are so many Ugandans. I left there over 150 of them in custody. People who are serving, who have been kept without going through any court process.
Abalungi abatuuliriza era abatulaba olunaku olwaleero tuchaddeko ewa Sheikh Asiraf Dembe.
Sebo sanyusa okubalaba amannya agange Seeka Asiraf Dembe akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde tumusomereddwa tumuwa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu n'okulomba edduwa abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse sobola okumulombera edduwa ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge naye ng'ali wala naneetaase enamba yange yeno eri 0707763711 namwe bannyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku dduwa ng'olina ebizibu viza zibuze amaka gakolongotana sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amannya go ebyo byokka bijja kummala nja kukulombera edduwa ojja kutereera olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa eyawamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Salaamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Abuterevu musajja mukulu nga omulabyeko Bobby Ngaja ate munne gattako ne munne we baali bawambiddwa mu mbeera okuba nti bali bazze okwenyigira mu nsonga zino abwezitambula ku sayidi ya His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu kale nno alina byalambuludde ebisingako kukwabwe ngende okuba nga ate nkuwabula ate ensonga zino nga gye zitambulamuko ensobola okugamba nti wandibawo embiranye ku bantu baba bannansi ab'eggwanga eddala eriri ku mulirwano abaali bawambiddwa mu mbeera bw'ekyo egenda okuba nga eddako mu kaseera mpawo kagakankulekera obubaka buno osigale nga obwekanya akufiris exclusive nakugamba nti wosanga ensonga z'amasonga nolaba biki ebitambula mu ggwanga lyattu Uganda kale nno Asheka Shulafu Gamba kugamba tomwerabira musaale nnyo mu mbeera okuba nti ajjanja bagattako n'okuba nti agonjoola endwadde zonna n'ebizibu ebyenjawulo obeera nga omukonako ku namba essimu gy'olabye esembya 11 ku sikirini yawo ojja kuba kuvumula ajja kuba akujjanja ojja kuba okomawo okuba nga ate omwebaza kankulekera obubaka buno basajja bakulu ng'ensonga bazitebya oba nga baziva ku ntono engeri gye bakwatibwamu n'okunyigirizibwa ku bayitamu okw'enjawulo akubavudde ne bategeeza bannayuganda ku biki ebitambula ku sayidi eno wabula nga ate bakalaativu bagamba nti walina okubaawo ensonga zino ate mu n'engeri gye zigenda okubanga zigonjolwamu ku byonna ebyatuuka ukamba kulekere osigale nga obekkanya bekumire ku mukutu atukomawo n'abala bangi nnyo.
Yeah, it's very difficult, like we came to understand, that the environment in Uganda is very different from the political environment in Kenya. I think for us, we're a bit lucky that the constitution allows for more freedoms of association, freedom of speech, and we sometimes take those freedoms for granted. In Uganda, they are still using a constitution that perhaps, actually the constitution does allow for us to mingle politically, but they have a system which is a military state, whereby the military runs the country, so to speak. And so they can choose to even suspend the constitution at will, like what they did for our case. If we had been arrested, we ought to have been presented to a court of law within 48 hours as per their laws. But they opted to abduct us forcefully because we had no option of refusing. You know, we were actually abducted forcefully. We were tortured. We have been kept incommunicado, total incommunicado, where you don't speak to anyone outside where you are or inside. We have been denied proper food and medical attention for those 38 days. We were psychologically tortured and physically. I mean, this goes against all the human rights, laws, either both locally or internationally. And it is a serious diplomatic threat, even for all other Kenyans who want to travel for business or for leisure in Uganda. It means that you can be picked anywhere, you're not safe. And this is actually going against the spirit of the East African community. My passport is an East African passport. I entered into Uganda and I was given a 6 months visa, actually. So we were there legally. And if there was any reason the government felt that they did not want us in their country, it's their right to deny us the visa, instead of allowing you to travel and then abducting you in the process while you're undergoing your day-to-day activities. We meant no harm to Uganda. We were not going there to start protest or to incite them, no. Ours was a plain mission to visit a sister country, to share in the social, economic, and also political activities happening. Going forward, I think the timing perhaps was a bit sensitive because they're having elections in a few days' time, on the 26th. Yeah, so that's in a month's time. I was actually supposed to travel there again in January. I have my friends from Canada who wanted to visit Uganda. So they asked me, Bob, do you know a place we can visit? I was going to fact find and see if we can, the travel plans. I'm sure they're going to cancel those plans as soon as they hear what happened. So this is something that goes against the spirit of East African community. We need to have a more open and liberal society. And even when we go to Tanzania, we follow the laws of Tanzania. We don't break the laws. That is not to mean that we cannot partner with people in Tanzania to advance our ideologies there. That is exactly what we are doing. And even with this upcoming, we are proposing to initiate several strategies that are going to compel the government of Tanzania to come down its high horse. Over 10,000 lives have been lost as we speak, and unconfirmed, but we are getting the reports from the people. Just now I received some Tanzanian refugees who have crossed the border into Kenya, and they're giving us information of what is happening. The president saw herself in using a military, in a military camp. So the similarity is happening in Tanzania across the region.
What is this fridge Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the president, was talking about? He put you guys.
This fridge is a metaphorical thing he's talking about. It's when you are a person who lives in freedom, you believe in freedom, you are called Free Kenya, by the way, being put in a place that is a cage, that's a fridge. So really what he was telling,
chambers, basically.
That is torture. It was torture. Torture is not just beating, though that one also happened. Torture is also psychological. Torture is also you can't move anywhere. Torture is also you can't make any plans. Torture is also you can't talk to people you know. Torture is also you can't organize your issues. That is torture. And so for him to use that fridge, it was about telling us that, see, our issues have been frozen as the Free Kenya movement. You get the point? So that is the kind of thing that he was creating there, to tell people.
In that same fridge, we have Ugandan civilians.
In the same fridge?
Yeah, one of them is actually the brother to the Internal Affairs Minister. The Minister for Internal Affairs, he's looking for his brother right now as we speak. He's been held at a place called Ronyo. Ronyo is a center. That's where we've been held in the last safe house. The brother is there, he's called Amos. We have high-ranking government officials, civilians, who are still being held in that place. We have Nigerian brothers, about 6 of them, civilians, who have been kept there for so long, being tortured. One of them was explaining to me how his torture went. They were using a pliers, they squeeze his fingernails. He has so much body injuries that they don't want to release him in that condition until he's healed. He's still there. His name is Joseph Ifaye Chukwu Nwobodo, the Nigerian national. I hope the embassy of Nigeria can be more, like what Kenyans at least try to do.
Proactive.
Be proactive in protecting the rights of your citizens. Whether they're innocent or guilty, let that be proven in a court of law, but not in a military base.
In that same fridge, we have Nsubuga Sam. We have somebody called John Mary Luchamsi, and I was in the cell with a Nigerian who is called John Alexander Egbo. He was in the same case with what the other one that Bob says. And we know there are many other people. In that fridge, there is 150 Ugandans out there. That fridge.
150 in Ronyo.
In fact, some are in freezers.
Those ones are in Serakasenyi.
Serakasenyi.
In Ronyo is where we have another safe house.
Yeah.
That one has some Ugandan nationals, and ourselves were there also.
So maybe, Bob and Oyo, what you needed is to paint for us a picture. You are picked at Starbucks. Where did you end first?
We ended up at Kasenyi.
Kasenyi
is a military camp.
Training camp.
In fact, the place that they locked us in was not actually cells.
Yeah.
They were houses of those soldiers.
Yeah.
So when they picked us, and I think the Nigerians, because we found out that they came a day before us in that place, those were houses being built for the soldiers. But they decided to lock us in there. So you find that that kind of a thing. You go there, it's a military camp. In the morning, at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:30, you start hearing guns and bombs because they are training there. So those are the things that come into your mind every time. There's a soldier who told me that we in the special forces have something called a report. Our report is basically if you're given 5 bullets, you must bring back 5 bodies or bring back the 5 bullets.
What?
That is what he was telling me.
Interesting, but also very sad that people can be killed without recourse in that country, and people can be jailed without being told what crime they've committed.
All these people who are there, nobody knows their crime. The ones we met, at least.
Interesting. So those were from the safe houses. That's when you're taken to Ronyo, to other places.
From the Serakasenyi training camp, we spent 23 days there.
Yeah.
And we were moved from that camp now to a safe house. The purpose of moving us was because I think word had gotten out that there are civilians in the military camp. So they had to move the civilians out quickly before investigations were commenced. Commenced. And we were taken to a safe house where we stayed for another 14 days before our release.
And that happened at 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, the thing is this, you're moving out, you don't know where you're going. You don't know, there are 3 destinations here. You could be getting released. You could be going to
be killed.
Transfer.
Yes.
But there is a kutumwa kwa Mungu.
Yes.
So now you're in a situation here, you are not sure what your feelings are going to be.